Max's journey. Once upon a time, in a quiet little town surrounded by fields of golden wheat, there lived a dog named Max. He wasn't always alone, but one day, his owner moved away and left him behind. Max didn't understand why. He waited by the front door of the house, thinking his owner would return. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, but no one came back. Max's once shiny coat had grown dull, and his belly often rumbled with hunger. But Max was hopeful. Every day he roamed the streets, wagging his tail at anyone who passed, hoping someone would take him in. The people in the town were kind enough to leave him scraps, but no one stopped long enough to notice his longing eyes. One particularly cold evening, Max curled up in an old cardboard box near the town's bakery, shivering from the chill. The smells of fresh bread filled the air, and Max's nose twitched. He was too weak to move. His paws cracked from the cold, and his once bright eyes were dull with sadness. That's when she found him. A girl named Clara, no older than 10, had been walking home from her piano lesson when she spotted the little dog. He looked like a pile of fur and bones, barely moving in his makeshift shelter. She crouched down, her heart breaking at the sight. "Hey there," Clara said softly, her breath fogging in the icy air. "Are you all alone?" Max lifted his head weakly, his tail giving a faint wag. It was all the answer Clara needed. Without hesitation, she ran back to the bakery and asked the baker for a loaf of bread. The kind man handed her a warm roll, and Clara hurried back to Max. She tore it into small pieces and held one out to him. At first, Max hesitated, unsure if he could trust her. But Clara's gentle smile and soft voice made him feel safe. He sniffed her hand, and then took the bread gingerly. "You're coming home with me," Clara whispered, stroking his matted fur. Clara brought Max to her small cottage on the edge of the village. Her family wasn't wealthy, but her parents had big hearts. When Clara explained how she found Max and how he needed help, her parents agreed to let him stay. For the first time in months, Max felt warmth, not just from the fire in the hearth, but from the love in Clara's eyes. She washed him, wrapped him in a blanket, and let him sleep by her bed. Max quickly became a part of the family. Clara would take him on walks every morning, feeding him scraps from her plate when she thought her parents weren't looking. He began to regain his strength, his fur growing shiny again, and his tail wagging more often. But not everyone in the village was kind. One day, as Clara and Max were playing in the field behind their house, a group of older boys approached them. "That's the stray dog," one of them sneered. "He's dirty and useless. Why are you wasting your time on him?" Clara stood protectively in front of Max, her small frame trembling, but her voice steady. "He's not dirty, and he's not useless. He's my friend." The boys laughed and walked away, but Clara's words stayed with Max. For the first time in his life, someone had stood up for him. He felt his heart swell with gratitude and love for the little girl who had given him a second chance. Max's loyalty was soon put to the test. One stormy night, Clara's little brother Tommy wandered out of the house chasing a butterfly. The rain poured down in sheets, and the wind howled through the trees. When Clara realized Tommy was missing, she panicked. The family searched the house and yard, but there was no sign of him. Max's ears perked up as he sniffed the air. Without waiting for anyone, he bolted toward the forest, his paws splashing through muddy puddles. Clara grabbed a lantern and followed him, calling his name. Max's keen nose led him to Tommy, who was huddled under a tree, crying. The little boy was soaked to the bone, shivering in the cold. Max barked loudly to alert Clara, then nuzzled Tommy to comfort him. When Clara arrived moments later, tears streamed down her face as she hugged both her brother and Max. "You saved him, Max," she whispered, stroking his wet fur. "You're our hero." From that day on, Max was more than just a dog. He became the heart of Clara's family and a beloved member of the village. Even the boys who had once mocked him grew to respect him, calling him Brave Max. Max never stopped wagging his tail, and he never stopped loving the girl who had seen his worth when no one else did. The moral: every life has value, even when it seems forgotten or abandoned. Max's story reminds us that kindness and love can transform not just the lives of others, but also our own. Sometimes it takes just one person to see the worth in someone or something to change everything. And when we give love to those who need it most, it often comes back to us in ways we never expect.